Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday evening to you all. I hope everyone is doing well out there tonight. Had yourselves a fantastic Thursday, and I hope everyone has been having a great week out there so far as we're almost to the weekend. Here to give you some updated information on this winter weather threat that's going to move across areas of the Midwest tonight into the Ohio Valley tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we're going to get a pretty decent snow event across areas of the Appalachian Mountains, really the central Alps region, and then the Mid-Atlantic as we get into the overnight hours for Friday night into Saturday morning. So we'll speak on that in great detail right at the beginning of the video. We will speak a little bit about what's going on right now in the Northeast. Talk about how much snow is forecast for certain areas. We're not going to cover the entire Northeast just because this is ongoing right now, but we will talk about a couple regions. So we'll break it all down for you guys, but we'll show you some awesome graphics from this storm on the way. That really is going to get you guys a really great idea of how much snow you guys could expect as of right now, as of this evening. I could see, if anything, some of these predicted snowfall amounts increasing, especially for the Mid-Atlantic. And we'll talk about that in this video. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And folks, I was kind of looking at the videos over the last month and a half, and last month, January, was such a big month as far as growth. Things are kind of somewhat slowing down now where I can kind of recap January. But I was checking out the videos, and I think we're on a pretty awesome streak right now. I don't think we've had a video that's been less than 10,000 views since like late December. So it's a really impressive streak, and I just want to show my appreciation to y'all. Thank y'all for the support. It means the world, and y'all are always showing me appreciation too. So we're all just appreciating one another, and I love it. It's a family type atmosphere on this channel, and that's what I've always wanted it to be. So definitely everything has came true with this channel, and I just want to thank y'all for giving me this platform to talk about what I love. So enough of that. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. I've not had a chance to answer the comments from yesterday morning's video. I had a couple things to do this afternoon, but I'll get to it probably tomorrow afternoon. But let's talk about what's going on right now. Let's get rocking and rolling. So we got snow flying around across areas of the Northeast right now, falling at a moderate to heavy rate also. Some areas are picking up a good bit of snow right now. Starting to move into southern New England. We'll talk about those areas here in a second. And then we got the snow right here. This is the system that's going to track east-southeast across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic over the next really the 24 to 36 hours. So it doesn't look super impressive right now, but it's going to look a lot better over the next 12 to 24 hours as it gets a little bit more juiced up and this clipper gets stronger. The low pressure begins to deepen, which means get stronger. We talk about watches, warnings, and advisories. Winter weather advisories ongoing for what's falling right now across areas in Nebraska and South Dakota. We got winter weather advisories up for north of St. Louis, but they haven't issued any winter weather advisories in the rest of Illinois or Indiana or Ohio or Kentucky, not even West Virginia yet. So I think we're going to wake up to a lot more winter weather advisories, even winter storm warnings. We have winter storm watches up for a couple counties in western Maryland, those higher elevation counties, and then the higher elevations of West Virginia where there are pretty confident we're going to get several inches of snow here. And then we already have winter weather advisories up for southern New Jersey, several counties in southeast sections of Pennsylvania, areas of Delaware and Maryland. This is where there's already enough confidence that we're going to get accumulating snow. That doesn't mean that we're not going to get it in DC just because we don't have a winter weather advisory. It's just, it kind of goes off the level of confidence here. I think as we wake up tomorrow morning, we're going to have a slew of winter weather advisories across this area right into here. So let's talk about what's going on right now really quickly. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this at all, but the radar's picking up on what the HRRR model's showing and vice versa pretty well. Boston, you guys will get hit with a few hour period of moderate to heavy snow, I think, as we get into the next couple hours. This will hit the city here, give you maybe an inch and a half of snow. It'll continue to snow up here in the interior Northeast Vermont, New Hampshire, even in the Adirondacks of New York. After this kind of pulls out, it'll continue to snow up here in kind of the southern half of Maine. We'll begin to get a pretty epic lake effect snow band that it's not going to last very long, but it could be quite intense for like Syracuse, kind of south of the Tug Hill Plateau, and this will be ongoing throughout the overnight hours. And we're going to wake up tomorrow morning with some decent snow flying around in probably Syracuse. We could have some snow showers even in the southern tier of New York, Finger Lakes region, and it's probably going to be snowing in the coastal areas of Maine But by the time we get into tomorrow midday, the lake effect snow band off Ontario is probably simmering down, and we're just kind of left with some lingering snow showers. Now, as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we could get the lake effect snow bands ongoing again off Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. And it just depends on where you are. This looks more so kind of northwest to southeast. So Syracuse could be the breadwinner with this event, with this lake effect snow event. Then you can see the next event coming up on your screen. We're not going to talk about that quite yet. But snowfall between now and the rest of this event up here, you could get several inches of snow in pretty much all of Vermont and then areas of southwest Maine. Hopefully your town name shows up on this. Plymouth, 4 to 6 inches of snow. Augusta, Maine, 3 to 4. Portland, 4 to 6 inches of snow. Portsmouth, 2 to 3 inches of snow. Manchester, 2 to 3. Concord, 2 to 3. Concord, I think that's how y'all say it. Probably not Concord like in North Carolina. But you look at Albany. It's already snowing in these areas. But this is kind of the final tally in this region. So it's already adding up in this area right now, but this is kind of the Albany area right in here. And then Boston, as of now, you probably could get about an inch and a half of snow from the snow that's going to move in here in the next couple hours into this region, if it's not already snowing by the time you're watching this video. So let's go on and break down this winter weather event coming up. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start this off around 3 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning. So we already got snow starting to kind of move down from the north here in Iowa. This will get more juiced up as we are getting into around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So snowing pretty good at a moderate to heavy rate in northern Missouri. Snow's starting to move into like Peoria. It's already snowing probably by the time the sun's coming up. Could get a little bit of light snow all the way up to Chicago, Rockford area. Very possible. I think it'll happen, but it's going to be a sharp cutoff between a little bit of snow and nothing at all. But I think you might mix a little bit tomorrow morning in St. Louis, but I do think you'll abruptly kind of switch to some moderate to heavy snow, especially if you live about an hour or two north of St. Louis. I think that's when you'll get more in the way of accumulations, and that's why you have those winter weather advisories north of St. Louis. We're not going to speak on Indiana yet. We'll speak on that on the next frame here. We're just going to solely speak on Missouri and Illinois, but by the time we get to about midday tomorrow, we got a solid snow event kind of making its way through the heart of Illinois. And it's snowing in St. Louis, snowing back in Columbia, Missouri. And by the time we are getting into tomorrow afternoon, it could be snowing pretty heavily down here in the southern and south central sections of Illinois. Still snowing in St. Louis. Not going for a whole lot in St. Louis right now, but we could wake up and the totals increase. I'm going to say that a lot in this video. Things could increase as we were waking up tomorrow morning. I'm going to give myself a little extra time to make a video. But you can see the dynamics of this. You move a little bit south, we could get some thunderstorms that could produce some hail down here in Arkansas and Tennessee because it's really close to some cold air aloft. So we'll see how that happens. But we continue to move forward here, and we get all the way to tomorrow evening. It could still be snowing in the southern tip of Illinois, and we could end as a little bit of a mix here in the Boot Hill of Missouri. We'll see what happens with that. But speaking on just Missouri and Illinois, snowfall, this is a broad look. Only going for about an inch and a half in St. Louis. You get north of town, 2 to 3 inches of snow is a good bet in this region. But guys, I do want to show you kind of the GFS just for good measures here. It's a little bit further south, and it does, just like in general, more snow. And I could see something like this happening. So it kind of juices up the amounts, kind of broadens the board a little bit. And, I hope you know where you are in the state. It's not a knock. I know some people don't. There is some people out there that cannot point to the state they live on a map. And it's not a knock on anybody, but, you definitely, it's probably a good idea that you know how to do that. But anyways, not everybody can. But, hopefully when some people look at these maps, they can at least kind of get a general idea where they are and how much snow to expect. But, it more so like central to kind of south central Illinois, and it does drop a few inches of snow in St. Louis. And, there's a bullseye right here in Missouri, right in here, where it's like 4 to 5 inches of snow. But let's take a look at these individual graphics. Up here in Iowa City, 1 to 2, Quad Cities, 1 to 2 inches of snow. So Dubuque might not get anything, might get a trace. Waterloo, maybe a trace to an inch. Cedar Rapids, 1 to 2 inches of snow. And then we get down here, Peoria going from 1 to 2. Springfield, Missouri, 2 to 4 inches of snow. Jacksonville, 2 to 4. Lincoln, 1 to 3. Champaign, 2 to 3. Effingham, 2 to 4 inches of snow. So we get down here to the St. Louis area. St. Louis going for 1 to 3 inches of snow, so it could be a nice event. But there's that jackpot area that the GFS likes also right up here in this section of kind of northeast Missouri. You know, Moberly, 2 to 4 inches of snow, Bowling, 2 to 4. And there might be an area that could get 5 inches of snow in here. So we'll see what happens with this. And we continue to move down here. Not going for much. They're saying you could get a trace in Mount Vernon, Illinois. You could get 2 inches. So it's kind of a wide variety. But was that Olney? 1 to 3 inches of snow. So now, and it's going to still show Illinois in this too, but we're going to kind of speak on, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky on this. And then this section right here, the western sections of West Virginia. So as we are getting into tomorrow morning, it's around 8, 9 a.m., we're already getting a stripe of snow moving kind of in the Indianapolis area points north. It's going to kind of probably be this weird area of snow that's already extending out from the main low pressure, which is down here. So if this happens, we can get some pretty heavy snow in Indianapolis tomorrow morning into tomorrow about midday. This is some kind of waves of, it almost shows some like waves in here. It's kind of wild, but this tells me that this is going to be pretty heavy, kind of convective in nature. I don't think we're going to get really thunder snow. But this low is going to be amplifying, so the precipitation is going to get more kind of juiced up as this system kind of chugs eastward in general. But snow slashing right through the heart of Indiana. It's starting to snow in western and central sections of Ohio. And then by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, we'll stop here. You might mix in Evansville, but then you could switch to some pretty heavy snow down here, the potential for it. And then look in Kentucky, you're starting to see some winter weather in kind of northwestern sections of Kentucky, and it's snowing pretty good in Cincinnati at this point. Columbus, Dayton, Louisville, you're starting to see some snow. By the time we get into Friday evening, got any Friday night activities in this area, it's going to be snowing in Louisville, probably snowing in Cincinnati, Columbus. How far north will the snow get? Will it make it all the way to Cleveland? It's going to be close. It's going to be close. But, you know, by the time we are getting into about 7, 8 p.m., the HRRR model says it's snowing pretty good. Snowing like crazy, honestly, in northern Kentucky. Snowing pretty good back here now in western Kentucky. Snow's kind of starting to drift out of the southern sections of Indiana. Snowing in all of southern Ohio. I know this was an area that kind of got ripped off with the last event a couple of days ago. I think you have a chance to get some accumulating snow from this. And then by the time you're getting, you know, around 10, 11 p.m., in fact, let's just take it to around midnight. It's snowing pretty good in all of central and western West Virginia. Rain's starting to switch to some heavy snow, especially in the higher elevations of southwestern Virginia. One thing we need to watch is down here in Tennessee also. You know, I think that in the northern Cumberland Plateau regions of kind of Tennessee, you could switch to a burst of snow for about an hour or two. I think it's very possible. I think you could even get it down here in Nashville again. Kind of the breadwinner of the Mid-South for the winter so far this year, that's for sure. And then I think you'll struggle with mixing in eastern Kentucky, but I do think you'll switch to some snow. Probably heavy at times too. Maybe in eastern Kentucky, will it accumulate that much? Not sure, but as you get deeper into the night, you know, whatever's falling will have a better chance to accumulate. And then this heads on off, and then we're going to get a period of snow even in the higher elevations of Tennessee and North Carolina for your kind of in the wee hours of the morning, Saturday morning. And this is done. We could have some lingering snow showers waking up Saturday morning throughout the Ohio Valley. So snowfall from this, that broad look again from the National Weather Service. It likes that stripe of 2 to 3 inches of snow right through the heart of Illinois, the heart of Indiana, right in the middle central sections, and then gets it all the way into right in the middle of Ohio. North and south of these regions, you know, inch or two of snow, going for around, I think, 2 to 3 inches of snow in Indianapolis, for example. There's a weird cutoff right in here where two National Weather Services don't necessarily agree, but they have increased it from this morning's video down here in eastern Kentucky, northern Kentucky. I could see areas right in here getting more snow than what's forecast. You know, around, was that Louisville? You know, you guys could get a little bit more as forecast. You know, even the lower elevations of West Virginia, a couple inches of snow possible from this. But you look at the GFS, and I knew it was going to kind of be weird here. There's the GFS. Same general idea, just a little bit more juiced up snowfall totals, especially for Kentucky. You know, you got widespread 2 to 3, even some 4-inch snowfall totals, and central and eastern Kentucky, northern Kentucky. But, you know, once you get into western sections of Kentucky, you know, Bowling Green about 1.5 inches, but even get some snow down here in northern Tennessee, guys. You folks in the kind of the Tri-Cities regions of Tennessee, trying to throw you a bone, but the National Weather Service does not buy it much. Then when we start to get into the higher terrain of West Virginia, we'll show more West Virginia here in a second. Several inches of snow is possible. It really is. The European model, guys, and I really didn't show this for the Midwest range, but this is the European model. The European has this pretty juiced up, guys. This would be a widespread 2 to 5 inch snowfall event. For example, Cincinnati would get a good 4-inch snowfall event from this. And I could see something like this happening, guys. I really could, especially as if you're still snowing, especially in the more eastern sections of these areas like southern Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. Once the sun sets, you'll have it'll be much easier for this to accumulate. So this is what the Euro's showing. A lot more broad, a lot more widespread, heavier snow. Well, let's go on and show you what the National Weather Service is showing as of right now. It's around 6 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the National Weather Service out of northern Indiana, Rochester, Indiana, 1 to 2. Marion, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Huntington, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Fort Wayne, an inch or less. Not much up here. Move a little bit further south. Indianapolis, going for a good 2 to 3 inch snowfall event. This could change as we're waking up tomorrow morning. It could. It really could. I could see it changing. Could tweak up. Could tweak down. I could see it tweaking up. But as of now, 2 to 3 inch snowfall in Indianapolis. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it shows your area if you live in Indiana and you're tuning in from that region. Now, this is an area that I could see that, I wouldn't say dramatically increases, but it could certainly increase. For now, they're going for a trace anywhere from 2 inches of snow in Louisville. I could see this increasing. I don't think I have, I think I do. But in Louisville, trace to 2 inches. Lexington, 1 to 3 inches of snow. Frankfort, 1 to 2. We'll see. I could see this increasing. We just have to see what happens. We head on up here to Cincinnati, the Wilmington, Ohio region. Dayton going for 2 to 3 inches of snow. Columbus, 2 inches. About 1.5 inches in Cincinnati. So Richmond, Indiana, 2.5 inches of snow. So, yeah, a little decent light event, which has pretty much been your entire winter so far. What is that? Flemingsburg, 1 to 4 inches of snow. Moorhead, kind of the same deal. We start to get into eastern sections of Kentucky. Hazard could get 0 inches, could get 2 inches of snow. Harlan, 0 to 1 inches of snow. We'll see what happens with that. Eastern Kentucky could get a light to moderate event from this. I think the National Weather Service is just staying a little bit conservative right now. Charleston, West Virginia, they're only calling for about 1 inch of snow. I could see this being more than that. I could. In fact, let's see if there's a new graphic. Take your time. No need to rush. No new graphic. So I could see stuff like this changing as we're waking up. Beckley going for about 2 inches. Snowshoe about 5-6 inches of snow. So hopefully it covers everybody in that area. Let's talk about the Mid-Atlantic. We'll include areas of Pennsylvania in this too. So this will be a heavy topic region. So as we're getting into Friday afternoon, Friday evening, let's start off there. We got snow starting to move into central PA, southern PA, especially southwestern PA. You could be snowing pretty good in Pittsburgh at this point tomorrow evening. Snow's beginning to really take over central and northern West Virginia at this point, western Maryland. By the time we are getting into around midnight, okay, it's snowing like crazy, I think, in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. The HRRR model is saying it's snowing pretty good in northern Virginia. There's a sharp cutoff into here, but, Harrisburg, you're seeing some heavy snow at this point. How far north does it get up into State College? I think you'll see some snow from this. We'll take it all the way to about 2 a.m. in the morning. I think the snow starts to enter the D.C. area around midnight tomorrow night, but this is where it's snowing pretty heavily. And I think that you could get above 10 to 1 snowfall ratios in this setup, especially the further north you get. I could see this uptrending for New Jersey, Delaware, up into southeastern PA. I think that's why you have winter weather advisories. But whoever is sitting kind of north of the rain and snow line is going to get the heaviest precipitation. So, if something like the HRRR model is correct, you're getting some very heavy snow just south of the DC region. How far south will the snow get down here in Roanoke and Charlottesville, for example? If this is right, Charlottesville will get a few hour period of some moderate to heavy snow. By the time we're getting into about 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's snowing like crazy out in the Delmarva region, snowing for the entire states of New Jersey, still snowing in eastern PA, snowing in New York City. The snow is trending a little bit further north in New York City, and now New York City has a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. around 7 hours of snow. So we'll see. It's just how heavy is the snow going to be. I think it'll be plenty of cold enough up here. Long Island getting some snow. The snow's getting all the way up into the far extreme kind of southern coastline of southern New England. We'll see how far north it gets. But by the time we're waking up Saturday morning, this thing's pulling on off. The only area it's still snowing at is maybe the southern coastlines of southern New England and maybe the Jersey Shore, maybe out on Long Island. But, this pulls on off and then it's done. And then we start to get some northwest flow snowy showers in the Appalachian Mountains Saturday afternoon. So definitely, if you're picking this weekend to go up to West Virginia, to ski or whatever, you picked a perfect weekend for it. It's going to be snowy, going to be wintry for sure. Snowfall. And let's see if we have a new graphic. And they have increased it a little bit. Snowfall between now and the duration of this event. This is kind of that broad look like we like to look at. And, they're going for, widespread anywhere from 2 to 5, 6 inches of snow in this area. This could overachieve. I think they're going to bump up the snow amounts in this region right into here. I think State College, the National Weather Service out of State College, which covers this area of southern PA, is kind of lagging behind a little bit. That's why you see this kind of weird gap, but I think this will be filled in by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. But this is going to be another light to moderate event. You guys in this area in the Mid-Atlantic have had nothing but like these light to moderate events. But they've kind of added up over time if you had multiple rounds of these light to moderate events. But, how much snow are you going to get in this section of central VA? I think this is a wild card area right down here. So, you look at the GFS for this area, and let's back it up a little bit. This shows a solid moderate snow event. Drops several inches of snow in the higher elevations of West Virginia and even Virginia. And it wants to even bring, a little bit of snow down here in Southwest Virginia. And then, it's a pretty decent event for central Virginia, and especially northern Virginia. But it really kind of cuts you off up here. Does not deliver as much snow up here in New York City and northern sections and central sections of New Jersey. And doesn't get as much of Pennsylvania into this. But you look at the European model, and it's a little bit further north, right? And it's a lot heavier snow. It's a sharp cutoff in Virginia and the Delmarva region. Look, the cutoff is very close to D.C. But, you're starting to get tallies upwards to like 5 to 6 inches of snow in areas of southeast Pennsylvania. This would hit Philadelphia pretty good. I think Baltimore, Philadelphia, D.C. is going to get, a few inches of snow at least. But this brings a little bit more snow into the New York City region, Long Island, places like that. Let's go on and take a look at these individual graphics. Right now, Pittsburgh going for about an inch, inch and a half. Down here to Davis, West Virginia, around 6 inches of snow. Morgantown, about 2 inches of snow. Not a big event from this at all. Take it into the D.C. area. Let's see if there's any changes, because they like to change it in the evening. And there is not. So this was the update around 2 p.m. Oakland, another 5 to 8 inches of snow. Cumberland, 3 to 4 inches. Hagerstown, 3 to 4. Frederick, 3. Going from around 2 to 3 in Washington and D.C. and Baltimore. Bel Air, a little bit more. And a little bit of snow south of Washington, D.C. too. Fredericksburg, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Charlottesville, as of now, an inch or less. So we continue to move. They're not expecting much right now in the Roanoke, Blacksburg, Lynchburg area. We'll see if that changes. And then we even go over to Wakefield, going for around 0.2 of an inch of snow in Richmond. They're always really exact in this area. But check out Salisbury. Going for around 2 inches of snow. Cambridge, around an inch, inch and a half. So, and then we head on over to Philadelphia, Trenton, Wilmington. Wilmington going for 3 to 4 inches of snow. This could increase, guys. I really could see this little area right in here increasing. Let's see if there's a new update, and it's the same. But Somerville, 1 to 2 inches of snow. 1 to 2 inches of snow in Allentown, Reading, 2 to 3. So you guys in a lot of these areas already got snow a couple days ago. So there isn't any updated graphics from the New York City region, and that's why I don't have it up. And the State College area, they just haven't updated their graphics yet. But that's all I got, guys. Hopefully that helps. God bless all y'all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you in the morning.